Hello and welcome back to the Practical English Podcast. I'm your host, Mike.
And I'm Angela. We're so glad you're here. Today's episode is one we've had a lot of requests for. Dating small talk made easy. Speak English with confidence.
That's right, Angela. We're diving into the sometimes tricky, often nerve-wracking world of dating in English. We want to give you the tools and the confidence to make that all-important small talk feel natural and, dare I say it, fun.
Exactly. Whether you're getting ready for a first date, navigating online chats, or just want to get to know someone new, having the right words can make all the difference between an awkward silence and a real connection.
So stick around because we're going to break it all down for you. We'll cover fantastic conversation starters, phrases to keep the chat flowing, and even do some role-playing and interactive practice with you.
It's going to be a practical and fun one. Let's get started.
All right, first things first, the opening. Those first few minutes can feel the most intimidating. You need a good conversation starter that isn't boring or generic.
Something a little more creative than, "So, do you come here often?"
Definitely. A great starter is an open-ended question that invites a story. For example, instead of the standard, "What do you do for work?" you could try something more intriguing, like, "So, what's your story?"
Oh, I love that. What's your story? It's playful and broad. It lets the other person decide what they want to share. Their job, their hometown, their passions. It takes the pressure off.
Exactly. Another one I really like, which sets a positive tone right away, is, "What's something that's made you smile this week?"
That's a great one. It's personal without being too invasive. It immediately gets you both thinking about something happy, and you learn what genuinely brings them joy.
Right. It's a shortcut to a more meaningful conversation. What about you, Angela? Any go-to starters?
I have a couple. One is, apart from work, what are you passionate about? This one is brilliant because it skips the often boring job talk and gets right to what really excites and motivates a person.
That makes sense. You find out about their hobbies, their values, maybe even their dreams. It's a much richer conversation from the start.
Totally. And if you want something a bit more fun and creative, you could ask, if you could have any superpower, what would it be and why? It might sound silly, but it's a fun way to learn how they think.
A classic, but it works because it's imaginative. The why is the important part. It tells you a lot about a person's personality based on their answer.
Okay, so you've used a great starter and the conversation is moving, but how do you avoid that dreaded awkward silence that can happen a few minutes in?
Yes, the conversational black hole. The key here is active listening and asking good follow-up questions. The best follow-ups are almost always open-ended. They often start with words like what, how, or why.
Right, you have to be a bit of a detective. So if your date says, "I went hiking last weekend," don't just reply with, "Oh, cool." That's a conversation killer.
No, definitely not. Dig a little deeper. Show you're interested. You could ask, "Oh, that sounds amazing. What was the trail like?" Or, "How did you first get into hiking?"
Exactly. Another great technique is to use the phrase, "Tell me more about." It's a direct, polite, and friendly invitation for them to elaborate on something they've said.
So if they mention they play the guitar, you can say, "Tell me more about that. What kind of music do you like to play?" It shows you're paying attention and you genuinely want to hear more.
It's also really important to share a little about yourself in return. A good conversation is a two-way street. It should never feel like an interview where one person is just asking all the questions.
That's a crucial point. So after the answer, you can connect it back to your own experience. Something like, "That's so cool you play guitar. I've always wanted to learn. I play the piano a little though."
Yes, that creates a connection. You're not just asking questions, you're sharing and finding common ground. You're building rapport.
Now, let's quickly cover some specific natural English phrases you can use to make the conversation feel smooth and engaging. These are the little things that native speakers use all the time.
Okay, first up, phrases for showing interest. Instead of just nodding or saying, uh-huh, you can use verbal affirmations like,
Oh, really?
"That's interesting."
No way.
These simple phrases show you're not just hearing them, you're actively processing what they're saying. Next, let's talk about phrases for agreeing or finding common ground.
This is so important for building that connection. You can say things like, I feel the same way.
That's so true.
Or a great one is, I was just thinking that.
And a very common informal one is simply totally. It's casual, friendly, and shows strong agreement.
Using these little phrases throughout your conversation will make your English sound much more natural and fluent. You know, Angela, something that can really elevate a good conversation, especially on a date, is the art of the compliment. It's a powerful tool for creating a connection, but it can be tricky to get just right. All right, now it's time to see how this all works in a real life situation. Angela and I are going to role-play a short first date conversation. I'll be Mike.
That's a fantastic point, Mike. It's about sincerity. A good compliment should be specific and genuine. Instead of a generic, you look nice, which is fine but a bit forgettable, you could try something that shows you've been paying attention. And I'll be Angela. As you listen, try to spot the conversation starters, the follow-up questions, and the useful phrases we just talked about.
That's a great point about compliments, Angela. On the flip side, just as there are things that bring people together, there's also conversational danger zones to be aware of, especially on a first date. Let's set the scene. We're in a quiet coffee shop. Ready?
Absolutely. The goal of a first date is to keep it light and positive. A big one to avoid is talking about past relationships. It can make things awkward really fast. You don't want your date to feel like you're comparing them to an ex, or that you're not over a past breakup. Ready.
You know, Angela, so much of dating these days starts online, with texting or messaging on an app. That's a whole different kind of small talk, isn't it? So, this is a nice place. I've never been here before, have you?
Oh, absolutely. It comes with its own set of rules. For one, tone is much harder to read in a text. Something that might sound playful in person can come across as sarcastic or even rude without the right context. Yeah, a few times. I love their lattes. So, Mike, your dating profile said you're a graphic designer. That sounds really creative. What's the best part of your job?
Oh, that's a good question. I think the best part is seeing an idea in my head become something real that people can see and use. It's pretty rewarding. What about you? Your profile said you're a teacher.
I teach second grade. It's chaotic, but wonderful. The kids say the funniest things.
I can only imagine. That's so true. Kids have no filter. So, apart from shaping young minds, what are you passionate about?
Ooh, I love that question. I'm actually really into pottery. I go to a studio every weekend. It's my way to de-stress.
No way! That is so cool. I've always wanted to try that. I feel like I'd just make a huge mess.
Making a mess is part of the fun. You should try it sometime. What about you? What do you do to unwind?
Well, I'm a big movie buff. I love going to old cinemas and seeing classic films on the big screen. There's something magical about it.
I feel the same way. It's so much better than watching on a laptop. What's the last classic movie you saw?
I recently rewatched Casablanca. It's just perfect.
Oh, a great choice. I haven't seen that in ages. Speaking of ages, I can't believe it's already been an hour. I'm having a really great time.
Me too. I'd love to do this again sometime.
Okay, and scene. We hope you noticed some of the techniques we discussed. Now, it's your turn to practice. This is our shadowing practice segment.
That's right. The goal here is to copy our pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation. We'll say a phrase from the dialogue, leave a pause, and you repeat it out loud. Ready?
Let's start. Repeat after me. That sounds really creative.
My turn. What's the best part about your job?
Good. Now this one. Apart from shaping young minds, what are you passionate about?
Okay, next. No way. That is so cool.
And I feel the same way.
Last one. I'm having a really great time.
Excellent job. Doing this regularly will seriously improve your speaking flow and confidence.
For a final practice segment, let's focus on pronunciation and fluency. Specifically, let's look at how native speakers often connect or reduce sounds in casual conversation. This is called connected speech.
Right. It's one of the main reasons spoken English can sound so fast. For example, in our dialogue, I asked, "What do you do to unwind?"
But if I say it naturally and quickly, it sounds more like, "What do you do to unwind?" The "what do you" mashes together to sound like, "what do you?"
Let's practice that reduction. First, say, "What do you?" slowly.
Now let's say it faster as one word. Repeat after me. What do you?
Now let's try the full sentence now. What do you do to unwind?
Great. Here's another common one. In English, going to often becomes gonna in casual speech.
That's right. So a sentence like, I'm going to try it sometime, sounds more like, I'm gonna try it sometime. Let's practice. Repeat after me. Gonna.
Now the whole phrase. I'm gonna try it sometime.
Perfect. You don't have to use these reductions right away, but recognizing them will dramatically improve your listening skills. Over time, you can add them to your own speech to sound more natural.
We've covered a lot today. Now we want to leave you with some concrete tips on how to practice these skills on your own.
So here are our top tips for getting better at dating small talk. Tip number 1. Repeat the phrases we shared today out loud. Speaking them builds muscle memory for your mouth and your brain.
That's so important. Tip number 2, practice shadowing our conversations. You can rewind this part of the podcast and do it a few times. Really try to match our rhythm and intonation.
Tip 3 is an active one. When we ask a question in the podcast, pause the audio and try to answer it yourself, out loud. It's great for practicing thinking on your feet.
That's a fantastic idea. Tip 4, focus on communicating naturally, not perfectly. Remember, the goal is connection, not a grammar test. Your date will be focused on you, not your preposition.
And that leads perfectly into our final and most important tip, number 5. Don't worry about mistakes. Everyone makes them, even native speakers. If you get stuck, just smile, take a breath, and try again. Your date will appreciate the effort far more than they'll notice a small error.
Totally. Confidence comes from practice and from being kind to yourself in the process. Your personality is what's most interesting, not your perfect grammar.
And that really brings us to the heart of today's episode. We've given you a lot of tools and phrases, but they are all just ways to achieve one simple goal, creating a human connection.
Exactly. So if there's one thing you take away from this episode, let it be our key takeaway. Great conversations aren't about saying the perfect thing. They're about showing genuine interest and creating a real connection.
Let's say that one more time because it's so important. Great conversations aren't about saying the perfect thing. They're about showing genuine interest in creating a real connection.
That's the real secret. Be curious, be yourself, and listen more than you talk. If you do that, you'll be amazing.
Thank you so much for joining us today on the Practical English Podcast. We hope this helps you feel more confident in your next conversation.
We'll be back next week with another episode to help you master your English skills. Until then, keep practicing and take care.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.